I got the INEO Pocket S Mini for about $220, but not in the way you might think. You see, this 8 gigabyte model, the base model, launched at $320. But because of an error in manufacturing of a battery that was not as promised, INEO has shipped this to me with an additional INEO Air Mini, one that we've already reviewed, that's valued at about $100. So I was able to save that and sell it off to another patron, reducing the overall price of this effectively to $220. Now, there's no telling how long that's going to last, and this review is not about the price to performance, but the price to performance at 220 is pretty good for a G32X. This small, powerful handheld has a lot going for it. Today we're going to do an unboxing, take a look at it, and give you my thoughts on the INEO Pocket S Mini. Does it really match my love for the original INEO Pocket S, which was one of my favorite handhelds of 2024? Or is it fail to meet the metrics that I set for myself? Remember to hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss an episode. But let's dive into this miracle and find out why I say that I finally have the perfect or almost perfect pocketable Sega Saturn handheld. Okay, so as I said at the beginning, there was an error with the original intention of the Pocket S Mini to have a 6,000 milliamp hour battery, which would have been amazing and one of the draws of the premium experience. However, due to a mix-up between communications, apparently a 4,700 milliamp hour battery was the one that was really finally signed into contract, but marketing didn't get that update, and so it got out as a 6,000 milliamp. Anyways, the way that INEO addressed that was, once they found a discrepancy, was to offer a free INEO Pocket Air Mini. So we've already had a review of this. Take a look at this if you'd like. Again, they were offering the $90 version, the 2 gig, or for $10 more, you can get the 3 gig. I paid the $10 upgraded, so this is valued at about $100. I will be selling this to someone that I know that's asked for it. But let's start with the box. And the box, as always, is pretty premium. I like the way the box looks here. I like as it focuses in here. I like the design of it. It's got a nice raised edge to it. You can kind of feel the design. It's got the INEO Pocket S Mini on the front. They went with white, which I think is good. Looks good with the white, kind of keeps it classy. Nice raised feel. On the sides of the box, we do have the Pocket S Mini on each side, along with INEO on the other side. So not much on the side. We do have the Snapdragon logo down there for branding for it. And then if we move to the bottom, we have our typical bottom, which does have a Snapdragon sticker there showing that this is Obsidian Black. We got the 8 gigabyte model, 128 gig internal. It is an Android handheld, and this is the Pocket S Mini. And we do see the Snapdragon G3X Gen 2. But opening the box, my favorite part here. And if we take the lid off, we're greeted with this, as usual, top portion that has a picture again of the unit, the handheld, the INEO Pocket S Mini there. It looks nice. I like the way that looks almost charcoal on top of that foam thing to protect it. We'll get the handheld out of the way, and below that we do have, they've been using these for a while now, we have a little QC there for your product guide. It does come in both English and in, almost said Spanish, and in Mandarin. And then we have a quality control here. So it looks like, per the date of this, mine was manufactured on February 7th. So not too long ago that it was approved for manufacturing. Digging deeper into here, we do have a box in the bottom. And that does include if I get the box open here. That does include our cord, so no surprises there. We have our cord. If I just get into frame here, it's going out of frame. But there is a USB-C cord as always. And then we do have an extra set of buttons. So one of the criticisms on this was maybe the buttons were too small, but it does come with some extra buttons here. And so unlike the Conquer Pocket Fit, I hope that these actually fit. So, haha. So we'll try those out and see if those fit. I like the USB cords they use. They're pretty good quality. So I would recommend you use one that comes with it, even if you have another one. I just think that they are perfect for it. But let's get everything put back in the box and let's get the handheld out and take a look at it. Oh, and I forgot to mention, they also shipped with some extra thumb caps and this nice little case. Now, I do believe this case is meant more so for the Air Mini, but it actually does fit the Pocket S. Pretty basic case on the inside, but I like it has that nice little Neo name right there. So I think it's a pretty decent case, and I like it, and it fits either one, so no problems there. But getting our hands on this thing, and the very first thing that I noticed, and let me mention also this really nice cloth that they sent. Now, this is all probably part of early adopters. I don't know that if you purchase this, if you're watching this video in the future, if you'll get this nice monogrammed, I don't know if I can show this on the camera, monogrammed cloth here for Neo, but with the all glass front, it's definitely appreciated to have it. So let me get this thing wiped up. And yes, picking this thing up, and my first initial thoughts are, this is the size. This is approximately, I would say, the size of the Retroid Pocket Mini, which was and still is a great handheld with its Snapdragon 865. But this has a Snapdragon G3X Gen 2, a CPU, GPU that is going to be way more powerful. And so holding this, I immediately am reminded as to why I loved the original Pocket S so much. That premium flat slab that has metal, glass, and plastic all perfectly fused together to bring this premium handheld experience. This is a joy to hold. It's got that machine CNC frame skeleton that has been sandwiched with the motherboard, the plastic front with the glass cover on front of it, and the plastic back, all to create this premium experience. It's not overly heavy, feels solid in the hand, and is a joy to hold. And as always, this is attractive, but let's talk about a few things here. First, the Neo logo in the middle. Now, this was somewhat popular with older handhelds and then went out of favor. And so it's kind of interesting that it's back. Now, with the Pocket Classic, we did see them put some branding down there, but they didn't center it. They had it more off to the side there. And so I kind of like to the side better. But it's kind of interesting to see that Neo did that this time with this handheld. So there is Neo branding down there. Let's start with the testing of it, because we have these buttons that are a lot like the buttons on the Pocket S. And yes, these are nice buttons. I like the feel of these buttons. They're a good size. They have that nice coating on them. They have a nice travel distance. They are not micro switches. They are conductive rubber, probably membrane based. But they have a nice, they're not overly loud. They're a little loud, but they're not overly loud. But they feel really good. I think that they're really nice buttons. I like them quite a bit. Moving over to this D-pad. And yes, we have a D-pad that I love. Now, it's interesting because the D-pad is not exactly the same as it was on the Pocket S or the Pocket Vert. It's a little bit different. I do like it. It is inset a little more in the middle, and it doesn't have that glass or that plastic coating over it that I really like on the others. This is maybe a little bit less premium feeling than I was hoping for. I don't hate it. I like it. I think it's going to work great. But yeah, a little disappointment there that it's not exactly the D-pad that I was used to that we found. It's more along the lines of the D-pad on the Pocket Micro. It's more similar to that, which is not a terrible thing, not a bad thing, but you know. And then we have the sticks, which are in the proper orientation for retro gaming. But because this is a powerful handheld, I don't know. You might think that maybe they should be in the other configuration, but they are down here. They are kind of tiny, but again, they did give us these bigger stick caps. And so I'm going to see here. I did try some of the other stick caps that I've already had. So it does use the similar connector that we're used to seeing for a lot of these handhelds. And there is quite a size difference between these two. So it's really nice that they give the option for both of these. If I can get the camera to zoom in here, so you can see the difference there. There is a difference in size, quite a difference. And let's hope that they fit, because with the the Conquer Pocket Fit, they did not fit. And these hilariously seem to not fit. What is going on here? Okay, so before they had different shapes, and once again, this is ridiculous. And part of the reason why INEA gets such negative feedback, these are not shaped the same. They don't have the same shape. And that's part of the issue why, and I don't know if I can even get it to clear in there. Let's see here. We'll do it one at a time. So there is a more rounded, computer rounded for the bigger one, and the one that comes with it has more of that octagonal, or I don't know, that it's a little bit of a different shape here. Camera just doesn't want to focus here. There we go. And so there we go. You can see that it's just not the same. It's not the same. That looks close. It's very close. But that's quite a bummer, because I really would like to use the bigger caps. I'm not sure what these caps are supposed to go on that they're sending out, but they really got to get a hold of this, because with the Conquer Pocket Fit, they did this. And now apparently with this, these are just simply not fitting. Now, taking the caps off of the Air Mini, which are from the Odin that I love, the Odin Portal, these, come on camera, these do fit. And so you can use other stick caps. As you can see, I have it now on there. They do fit, but the ones that they send don't fit. I just don't understand. So, INEO, you got to fix it. You got to do something there, because that's just a bit damn ridiculous. Anyways, moving on, the sticks themselves, though, even with the small size that it comes with, are pretty nice. I do like the sticks that it ships with, which, although smaller, work pretty good for pocketability, and they're not too small. But it's a good thing that the Odin type Retroid sticks do fit. Again, don't know what's going on with those other sticks they're giving us. Maybe we'll find out one day. There are the other buttons on here you're used to that match. We do have the INEO button, that awesome button that brings up that software that I love. We have a start and select button, a home button. We do have the shoulder buttons that are in a stacked configuration. These feel really nice as well. No problems there. They are a little bit smaller than the shoulder buttons that we have on the Air Mini. So I will say that they are a little bit smaller than that. But they feel nice. I think they're appropriate. I like the way they feel. Holding this metal frame is quite a joy. There are also some additional buttons like the RC and LC button that are on the top. Pretty much the layout of this is similar to the INEO Pocket S. So if you had an S, you're going to feel right at home, minus the change in the D-pad a little bit and the configuration of the sticks on bottom instead of being stick top on the left side. The overall back side of it does have a air vent. It is that plastic top, but I like it. It feels nice. It's got the same shape that I really liked about the INEO Pocket S. It's a flat slab. However, it feels good to hold. Now, One other thing, we'll go around the side of this. We do have a vent on the top. We also have a fingerprint reader, and the fingerprint reader works pretty well. We have our volume rocker on the top. On the right side, we do have our micro SD slot, which has a door here that I like. It's easy to open, so I like this style of it. On the other right, we have another function button that serves as like a home button. And then on the bottom, we do have our one USB-C port that has video out. Now there is no there is no headphone jack on this. So those of you looking or liking to use headphone jack should know that there is not one on here. There is a USB-C port, but there's no headphone jack. So keep that in mind. Premium product, no headphone jack. This is a beautiful screen. Now, I'll get into this with the gaming. The screen had some issues. It is very likely the same screen used on the iNeo Air Pocket Mini. However, I think it looks better, looks sharper in playing it, but we'll get to that in the next section. But now I want to show you some of these handhelds side by side. They, again, for at least right now, and maybe for the foreseeable future, they're going to leave the price alone because you didn't get that bigger battery, and they're going to ship with an iNeo Pocket Air Mini. And showing these side by side, you can see the size of the two of them side by side and kind of compare here. I also compare it to the iNeo Pocket Micro Classic, another premium handheld, to kind of just show the overall size of it. Putting it next to these kind of puts in perspective the overall size of it so you can get an idea. These are pocketable handhelds. This one's the most pocketable because there's no sticks, but they do have the stick version of this that would be more comparable to this if you were comparing size or pocketability. Also comparing to the Conquer Pocket Fit to kind of show the overall size of this. Overall, I like holding this. I think it feels good. It's solid. It's not overly heavy. It is premium. Not quite as premium feeling as maybe I wanted it to be or expected based on the original. It's still very premium feeling, but maybe I was a little spoiled by that first run of it because some of the things here just don't feel quite as buttoned up. But iNeo has been under a lot of pressure to get things out quicker, and sometimes quality does suffer in meeting deadlines. And I don't mean quality of each individual unit, I mean quality of overall build quality. And so perhaps some of the decisions here were taken because parts were available rather than trying to get the most premium feeling. But if you don't like the glass front trim, you're not going to like this. It has the glass front on the top, the problem, but it's the iNeo Pocket Air Mini doesn't, so they have that. So there's choices here for it. But let's get this thing booted up. I want to talk about my experience with this, what I found. I've used this CPU in quite a few handhelds, so the CPU is not really a surprise here, but there were some interesting things about this handheld. Hey you, did you just get that new Nintendo Switch 2? But it only comes with Joy-Cons, and you want something that's better for your Mario Kart. Well, how about this? This is the Ghoulie Kit Elves Pro 2 in the Sega Saturn style. It also comes in a black style. We want to thank our friends at Amazon.com for sending this over for us to take a look at. But let me tell you that this machine, this controller, is amazing. It works perfectly on Switch 2. It has Hall sticks, and we know Ghoulie Kit makes the best Hall sticks adapters you can get. It also comes in this really nifty, cool case, as you can see right here. Wow, what a beautiful controller we have here. You can store and play and use on PC and other systems as well. I find that this is a nice stick and a really nice D-pad. Boy, do I love the D-pad on this thing. This has really surpassed my 8-bit dough, and the vibration on this thing is perfect. Anyways, hit the link below if you'd like to pick one of these up from Amazon from yourself. Again, we want to thank Amazon for sending this over to us for a look and review, and we found that this is a great controller. All right, and make sure if you want a better, more innovative review of controllers, go check the expert, go check our friend Clef. He has all the info on all the best controllers. But this one is really good for Switch 2, and it's just really good overall. Anyways, back to the show. Okay, so booting up into this, we have the familiar Snapdragon logo that boots up. and we go into Android. Now, one of the things I've said about Ioneo Conquer devices is that they have a maturing ecosystem for their handhelds that I am really liking. This Ioneo button on the bottom will take you directly and quickly into a lot of settings that are very handy for managing your system and managing the sort of gameplay you want to get out of it. Now, because this thing is with only a 4700 milliamp hour battery, and because it can run some higher end emulation such as Nintendo Secret Console and some PC emulation, this thing is going to be heating up and using more battery. So one of the downsides of not having that full 6,000 milliamp hour battery I found in my testing is that playing through this with some of the most awesome systems really chewed through the battery a lot quicker than I would have liked to have. Or I could have had a super loud fan. And so it's sort of a trade-off here. Now, where I really want to focus on this review is Sega Saturn, as you can see from my title. This has become my all-time favorite preferred Sega Saturn handheld. For one, the 4:3 screen is beautiful. My unit does not suffer from ghosting, or I don't see the ghosting. Maybe I'm not sensitive enough to it. I've read reports from others that have had the same ghosting problem with the Ioneo Air, Pocket Air Mini, or maybe only like in Android menus. But for me, I'm not seeing it. I think it's a beautiful looking screen. I've only had a great experience with it, and Sega Saturn is just fantastic on this. Playing through the catalog of Sega Saturn is great because, one, this can run the Beetle Core. Now, we've come close before. We've had something like the Dimensity 8300 on the Anbernic RG477 line that can run it, but and while that has a bigger screen, a 4:3 screen that's arguably better because it's 120 hertz, this has the horsepower to run the full Beetle Core. And so running those accurate shaders and clocks and everything and putting the CRT on it is just beautiful. I finally have a Sega Saturn in my hand that I can walk around with. And while that was one of the consoles that ended too quickly and I never got a chance to experience as a kid, yes, I'm a little older than you guys. I was sort of at the end of teenage years when that came out. I am happy to go back through this catalog and play this. And so for me, this has become my preferred Sega Saturn handheld. It is pocketable. I can take it with me. Older retro games are more better for quicker play or RPG where I can sit there and play at a leisure, pause, pick it back up. It's just wonderful. Now, yes, you can push this thing, and I did, and it gets warm. Let me tell you, playing on this thing, the back plate got a little warm, the fan got a little loud, and I pushed it, but it's going to do things that you would expect it to do for this level. You're talking about emulation that is almost everything you can throw at it. Not quite everything. There are still some limits, but PS2, which is a 4:3 machine, looks beautiful on this screen. So does Sega Dreamcast, Nintendo 64 looks fantastic, and you have all of the power to push those shaders. Now, the biggest downside for me is that it's not 120 hertz, and I love 120 hertz, so I really wish they had picked a panel that had 120 hertz so I could use some of that beautiful black frame insertion. But besides that, I don't find the ghosting issues to be here, but I'm afraid that that is a quality issue, a sensitivity issue. I would say that if you have ever been sensitive to ghosting or notice it, I'd be very wary of this handheld. And maybe if you're going to buy it secondhand and look at it before you buy it. Because for me, I don't see it. It's not a problem, but that doesn't mean that you're not going to have the problem also. I hope you don't. I have seen the little preview from Russ, and it looks like he's encountering some ghosting. So I think it's out there. I think there could be problems. But again, my unit looks beautiful. Sega Saturn looks fantastic on this thing, and I'm having a lot of fun playing it. So going through the software experience and everything, there's not a lot new here from previous Ioneo handhelds. I'm finding the experience to be what I expected it to be. Being able to play the games at the level that I would for this CPU. Now, it also has a pretty decent speaker. I wish the speaker was a little better, but take a listen here at a little clip from Jack 3. Oh, that's right, it plays Jack 3, no problemo. Check out this clip.
Actually, we are not that outraged. Farewell, Jack. Stay out of the sun. Drink lots of water, if you can find it. Go back to the city, Dax.
I'm sorry. The council is too powerful.
So you get a little idea of what it sounds like. And the speakers are serviceable. They're not terrible. And with Android, you can do some equalization stuff. And if we get Gamma or Root on this thing, we'll probably have some even better sound coming out of it. So let's sum this up with the last section and just go over my findings and summary for those of you that skip forward to the end and want to find out what I think about this. Let's wrap this unboxing and review up. All right, so what do I think about this? Starting at $320, it is a hard pill to swallow. For one, you have the Conquer Pocket Fit, an amazing device that I really love and is one of my favorite handhelds with a superior CPU. The Snapdragon G3 Gen 3 is a step above the G3X Gen 2, no doubt. So you're getting less of a CPU GPU performance at a higher price with a smaller screen. Secondly, it has a lot of potential here that is sort of unrealized. For one, the screen, while I think is good and appropriate, is still not a 120 hertz screen, nor a 1440p screen. In fact, one of the things that set apart the Pocket S, the original and the sequel, was the fact that it had a 1440p screen. That kind of offset the lack of 120 hertz. But on the Conquer Pocket Fit, you're going to get at 120 hertz, 144 hertz screen. So it's kind of unfortunate that for $269 you can get the same RAM, the same storage, but a better CPU, a bigger handheld with a bigger screen, and 120 hertz. So for a lot of people, this isn't going to make any sense. Now, what about getting the free Pocket Air Mini? Well, that's actually not bad. And if it stays there at $220, this starts to make a lot more sense, especially for a premium handheld. And at that point, we're competing more with the 477M. And the 477M has a better screen, but this has a better processor and is a little smaller and more pocketable. So it's really hard to know where to go. Overall, I am somebody that loved the original Pocket S, but not a lot of people did. So the fact that I love this may not surprise you, but this may be perceived by the public in the same way, which is quite a shame. Ioneo has dug itself into its own problem with a lot of the issues. For one, I support Ioneo in the way that others are doing now, and I've done it for a while because I saw the problems firsthand. Wait till it's available. Once they have a product in stock and can ship it, that's when I buy. And that's what I did here. That's what I've done with the handhelds and anything else coming out forward. I'll wait till it's available. I think that that's fair. Trying to help them fund development is not the deal here, especially when it's not guaranteed, and they try to develop too many handhelds at once anyways. I do love the innovation. I like this handheld a lot, and I'm going to use it a lot. In fact, it's come down to whether or not I'm going to use it more than the Classic, because the Pocket Classic has been another handheld for me that I've carried around and used quite a bit. But Ioneo does have a beautiful handheld here, in my opinion, that is priced funny in a hard market that's difficult, and they have all the other problems they've had that have made this a questionable buy for so many buyers. But not judging this on the merits of price to performance, just on the build quality, just on the fact of what this thing can do. It's pretty darn amazing that we have a pocketable Sega Saturn that plays the Beetle Core. It's great, guys. And if you're a Sega Saturn fan, I'd say overlook some of the other issues because this is just, it's great. It is so great. It looks fantastic. And for me, this makes this handheld worth it. It is my favorite handheld to play Sega Saturn on. And it plays a lot of other things great as well. I think PS2 is wonderful on it. It's got the horsepower. It's going to play anything you throw at it. It's playing Jack 3. It's playing Hot Shots Golf 3. So I'm very satisfied with its performance. But again, we're in a funny market here, and I just don't know overall how many people are going to respond to this. But leave me a comment. What do you think? Is this just a waste? I mean, if you had $300, would you go for this, or would you go for the Conquer Pocket Fit? For me, it's a hard choice because, man, I really love the form of this. I love the way it feels. I love the premium quality, and I feel like it's built to last. While the Conquer Pocket Fit, it's built like a handheld you would expect that maybe isn't built to last, but is awesome in its own right. Anyways, remember to hug your loved ones and love your hugged ones because tomorrow's never promised. Leave me a comment, guys. I want to know what you think. We'll see you next time, guys. Dev Fred out.